Namaste. Good morning, everyone. Hopefully you had a really great weekend and a nice Monday to start your week. And then here we go on our Tuesday morning. So I'm nursing my sprained ankle, but it is 100% better than it was last week. So I'm willing to try things, but we're going to stay low. You may notice that my camera is not going to go much above me kneeling today. So we're going to stay nice and low and down and grounded. Okay. So finding any comfortable seat for a moment or two, just a nice tall spine. I think I'll even out my legs. So wherever you are is perfect. Notice your sit bones and then be aware of your tailbone and your pubic bone. Just be aware of those two, front and back, side to side. And see if you can just lift that pelvic floor for a moment. And then when you've lifted it, just gently release the pelvic floor. Good. Excellent. And then let your shoulders just do a few circles in both directions. And then just relax your shoulders. And then if you're from your tailbone to the crown of your head, you could just lift a tiny bit, pull in your belly. And then relax your belly, relax your shoulders, relax your neck and jaw. Take your eyes down to the mat or gently close them, whichever is most comfortable. And just bringing your awareness into the breath, the rise and the fall, belly or chest, doesn't matter. And then taking a moment to be grateful for these bodies, these physical manifestations of our true nature, these lessons, these school books, these amazing bodies. Just being grateful for a moment. Send love to each and every part of your body. And then gently bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. Letting the thumbs touch the sternum for a moment and just spread out your fingers like peacock feathers. Just spread them out until the middle finger is reaching out in front, pressing firmly into the ball of the hand. And then bring the hands back up toward the ceiling, the fingers toward the ceiling, and relax the fingers. Relax your shoulders, your elbows. With gratitude, we salute all the great yoga masters, past and present, and a very special prayer of thanksgiving for Baba Hari Das. With joy, we recognize the excellent wisdom teachings of yoga, Ayurveda, and with vigor, we dedicate ourselves to self-transforming practice. So that sankalpa, that intention, that sacred vow, what do you need today? And then state it positively to yourself as if it were already happening. Just make it into a positive statement. I am peaceful, I am happy, I am strong. Whatever it is, 3 times repeat it to yourself. And then if you are where you can, please Om with me gently, exhaling the breath all the way out, a nice inhale to chant. Om. Letting your breath fill you in, and then let your eyes flutter open on an inhale. Releasing your hands down to your knees for a moment. So you can see I have my knees propped up because a little less pressure on my ankle. So I'm going to keep my knees propped up for our circles. Just going around, being aware of sit bone, tailbone, sit bone, pubic bone, sit bone, tailbone, sit bone, pubic bone, and then other direction. Waking up the heads of the femur, sitting deep in the acetabulum. Good, and then up to neutral. And then you can stay here with your legs just like they are. No, why don't everybody? Let's just change the cross. Wherever you are, change the cross of your legs. Good, and then we'll take this side extension like this. So go ahead and place your right hand on the floor. Lift the left arm up just to parallel to the floor for a minute. Flip the palm right there. So from the shoulder girdle. So eye of the elbow, you could bend your arm to go up. Flip the palm. And then reach the arm up toward the ceiling. Try to press into your left sit bone and reach up through your left fingertips. Really tall. Spread the rib cage. And then using your right elbow to give this movement. And keep the left hip firmly on the floor. Right elbow gives the movement. And then left arm arc over a little, wherever it feels comfortable to you. And then we're going to press into the right hand to straighten the arm to come up, and just let the left arm float back down. Good. And then lean over and firmly go ahead and put that left hand firmly on the mat. Right arm up just to parallel, and then flip. So from the very inside, flip. So you could bend it up and then all the way up, just reaching up initially. Press into the right sit bone. Nice and firm into the right sit bone, right fingertips reaching up, and then bending the left elbow, reaching the whole body. Feel the ribs expand, everything expand. And then pressing up with the left arm, straightening the arm, coming all the way up. Let the hands come back to neutral. Good. And then just a little baby twist as you inhale over to the left, and then exhale, return. 2 more times. Inhale, so let the breath start you, and over to the left, and exhale, return. 1 more time. Inhale, over to the left, and exhale, return. And if you don't know why we inhale, remind me at the end of class. Inhale, over to the right, and exhale, return. Inhale, over to the right, and exhale, return. 1 more. Inhale, over to the right, and exhale, return. Good, and then sitting up nice and tall, let both arms float up for just a moment. Flip the palms. So now the eyes of the elbows are toward your head. Okay, so palms are flipped, arms are extended. Good, take the thumbs back to the wall behind you. And then you're gonna slowly bend your elbows, just engaging the triceps. Touch the thumbs gently to the shoulder blades. And then lift up the triceps a little bit more. So just lifting through this part as you press your thumbs into your shoulder blades. Lifting up, pull in your belly. Let everything be nice and long and tall. Pull in the belly. Good. And then let the thumbs come back up nice and slowly. And then arms all the way to shoulder height. Good. And then 1 more time. Arms coming up. Keep the shoulder blades down. Arms are up. You have a lot of space between your ears and your shoulder blades. And then bend the thumbs gently down from the elbows, thumbs pressing into the shoulder blades. And then lift up through the triceps. Take the elbows even closer toward the ceiling. Keep your belly in. If your ribs jut out, just pull them back a little bit. And then slowly release the arms up toward the ceiling, reaching up nice and strong. Bring them back to shoulder height. And then let's flip the palms toward the floor. So pronation, good. And then big fingers and take the arms all the way back. Keep going, little fingers headed toward one another. And then when you can't go any further back, just take the hands, interlace, and squeeze open the chest area. Good. And just release for a minute to the front and go back, uncomfortable interlace. Good. And then release and just shake it out. Great. Okay. Take our legs out in front for a moment, just out in front. Wiggle your legs, just waking up all of the muscles along the hamstrings and the calves. Good. And then extend through the heels, but keep the heels firmly on the floor. So heels stay firmly on the floor. Good. And then arms floating up 1 more time. and make as much of a right angle with the body as you can. And you can see about taking your gaze a little bit up toward the ceiling. You can keep your face forward and just look up through the third eye. Or gaze up. You decide what's best for your neck. Toes are flexed towards you, very active feet, and heels are firmly on the floor. So there's no hyperextension in the knees. Good. And then relax the arms. And then let's go ahead and take in the left leg for a moment. Just take in the left leg and make some circles at the hip and then the other direction. Just gentle circles. Good. And then just take the foot for a moment and go back and forth, just back and forth. Good. And then up and down a little. Just keep your left leg, right leg just on the floor, comfortable, and then extend out the left, bring in the right. So just initially some little circles. And then the other direction. Try to keep everything else as stable as you possibly can. Try. And then hold onto the foot and go up and down. And back and forth. Good. And then hopefully with that little bit of oiling up, we're going to come onto our knees in a second. So just initially pushing back through Dandasana, flex your feet back towards you. And then let's take the soles of the feet as close together as we can. See if I can show. Okay. So feet are out. Soles of the feet are facing forward. They're not touching because that would mean you have your legs externally rotated. So your heels are away from one another. And you're going to take the soles of the feet toward one another and then open them up. Okay, and soles of the feet toward one another and then open them up. One more time, soles of the feet toward one another. Really press as many toes as you can toward one another and open them up. Good. And then let's just go ahead and bend the knees. Look at your toes for a moment. Put your heels on the floor and raise your toes. Heels on the floor, raise your toes. Good. And then take your little toe toward the floor, next toe toward the floor, third toe toward the floor, first toe, and then big toe, okay? And then just lift them and press them in a couple of times, just strengthening our ankles. We all can use that. Good. Excellent. And now we're going to come over into table pose. So getting yourself nice and comfortable. Find a place where you feel that you are able to have your hips underneath, your knees underneath your hips, completely underneath your hips, okay? And the hands are in front of the shoulders. The wrists are underneath them, okay? So let's find our neutral spot first. Okay, and we're going to actually move with the exhale today. So whatever we're doing, we're moving with the exhale where we need the strength, and we're inhaling back into neutral. Okay, so exhale, arch the spine, tuck the chin, inhale, neutral. Two more times. Exhale, arch the spine, inhale, neutral. Exhale, arch the spine, press into the hands, press into the feet and legs, and inhale, neutral. Other direction. Arch in the other direction, press into the hands and legs, inhale, neutral. Press into the other direction, and inhale, neutral. One more. And inhale, neutral. Now taking our right leg back, get a nice long line of energy. So we're going to do Surya Churya, sunbird. Okay. So right leg is back and the left arm sweeps forward. And we're looking for that long line. And we've been working with this a little bit in class. So pull in the belly and look for a long line of energy, as if you were standing in Tadasana on your bent left leg. You can see a resemblance to tree pose here. Good, pull in your belly. And then release the left arm and release the right leg. And just be still for a moment. Just be still. And then as you're ready, we're going to go in both directions. So exhale, body up, tuck. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, arch. And inhale, neutral, okay? And now your left leg back. So left leg is reaching back. Good. Make sure you feel stable. If you need to refix yourself, do that. And the bottom leg, the right leg can be along the floor, but if you get more traction with the leg under, with the toes curled under, you do that. And then raising up your right arm, palm is facing the midline. And then as you're ready, letting your left leg rise, looking for that long line of energy as if you were standing in Tadasana on your bent right leg. Breathe. And then slowly lower the right arm, right hand to the floor, knee lowers, and then let's take an arch. And while you're there, take a few breaths. Press the floor away, continue to curl the body. Breathing, curling, look back at your belly button. Press your fingers into the floor, tops of the feet or the curled under feet into the floor. And then on your next inhale, come to neutral. And then arch in the other direction. Curl the back of the head toward the tailbone toward the back of the head. Press firmly into the hands, into the legs, pressing. Good, breathing. Don't skimp on your breath. Just notice it is not as plentiful. And on your next inhale, come back into neutral. Good. Okay, and find that neutral spine. So when we do this next bit of Surya Churya, which is with a little bit of movement, I'm coming this way just to show one thing. When we go and we come back, we're going on train tracks. We're not bringing knee in, we're just coming in. And we are arching a little, okay? So when we come in and we arch and we go back and we extend and we come in. All right, ready? Okay. So let's start simply by just putting the right foot on the floor, curl it under, get ourselves set up first, pull in the belly, pull everything in, and then left arm extending out, palm toward the midline. Good. And then letting your right leg come up, find that even line. Excellent. And then as you're ready, exhale, arch, inhale, extend. Exhale, arch, inhale, extend. Exhale, arch, inhale, extend. One more. Exhale, arch, and inhale, extend. Lower the hand, lower the foot, drop the knee in. Perfect. Good. Just take a rest in your neutral spine. So you'll be gazing at the floor for a moment or two. Good. And then extending back, all the way back, curl under your left foot. Just nice and extended. So feel the extension there. Feel the pelvic floor lift, belly lift, everything's lifted. And then extend out through the right arm. Palm is facing the midline. And then let the back leg lift. Press through the heel. The heel has to be the boss here. Good. And then as you're ready, exhale, arch. Inhale, extend. Exhale, arch. Inhale, extend. Exhale, arch. Inhale, extend. One more. Release the arm. Take the foot to the floor and then bend the knee. Good. And from here, take a cat tuck. Press the floor away. Get really big in the spine. It's a very angry cat. On your next inhale, come into neutral. And then exhale, tuck. 2 or 3 breaths. Press the floor away, hands and feet. Good. And come into neutral. Great. And then take your hips back towards your heels, hips back toward the heels. Good. Reach the arms forward. And either stay here looking forward for a moment, like Kurmasana, like a frog about to leap, or drop your elbows to the floor and rest your forehead. And if it's too far away, just grab a block and rest your forehead on the block. So you can do it active, extending out, elbows are lifted, or you can rest. Good. And then whichever you did, bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Begin to press the floor away by straightening your arms, looking forward, just coming up for a moment. Good. And then let's come back into table for just a moment, just to do our spinal twist, okay? So the key to this twist, with us staying nice and even, we always like to twist out to one side and then go through and twist to the other side and out to one side. But the key is like learning that our arm moves and the shoulder moves open with that external rotation, okay? So let's find ourselves stable in our table, good, okay? And then go ahead and let your left arm be parallel to the floor, palm is facing down. If you start here, often it's easier, press into both feet and legs, and then reach up toward the left side. Press into the floor with your right hand, and then scoop the arm down, resting on your left shoulder. Press into the left foot, left leg, left everything down toward the floor. And if you're comfortable there, you can take your right hand to your sacrum. You can also take the right arm up toward the ceiling, but you need from the shoulder to open the palm out to the right side. From the shoulder, complete external rotation. And then release the right hand onto the floor, stack the elbow on top of the wrist, and unwind. And back into neutral. Good. Let's do the other side, okay? So nice and stable. So start with just taking your right hand and arm out parallel to the floor. Press into the left arm as you rise up, but don't let your hips move. Good. And then scoop the arm under, resting on your right shoulder. And if you're feeling comfortable, keep pressing into the right leg, right foot. Take your left hand to the sacrum. And if that's comfortable, the left arm can go up to the ceiling, but remember the palm is facing away from you. You're in external rotation in that left arm. Thumb is toward your head. Press into both feet and legs evenly. And then put the left hand on the floor, stack the elbow on top of the wrist and unwind. Good. And then come back into neutral. Coming up just for a moment to kneeling. Just for a moment. Good, just a little bit of external rotation. So go ahead and externally rotate your left leg. Just find it there for you. So a nice long line. So not sinking anywhere into that hip. Bring it in, nice and inserted into the joint. Good. And just look at your foot, see if it goes way out. If it comes under, get it right underneath as much as you can. Perfect. And then arms floating out. Pull in your belly and your pelvic floor. Let your shoulder blades move down the spine. And then gazing with your head, not your shoulders. Keep your shoulders where they are. Just your face moving out to the left side. Gazing out over your fingertips. Spread your hands nice and wide for a moment, fingers really spreading apart. And then flip the palms. Take the arms up overhead. And then bring the hands to the heart. Good. And then for just a moment, just extend out the leg. Flex the toes back toward you. Just get it nice and comfortable where you can feel that external rotation, but feeling comfortable. Good. Body is upright. Pelvic floor is lifted. Belly is in. Good. Just be there for a moment. Continue to flex the foot. The work is coming in the foot and the leg. It's active. And then we're going to roll the foot forward. So getting rid of the rotation, and then bring the leg back slowly. Just bring it back nice and slowly. Good. And now externally rotate and place your right leg. And again, not sinking into the left hip at all. Keep it inserted. The femur is inserted deeply into the socket. So you're really comfortable there. Good. And then arms floating up, shoulder height, belly is in, pelvic floor is lifted. And then as you're ready, gazing out over your right fingertips. Open the hands big and wide. Get the thumb and the little finger as far away from each other as you possibly can. And then bring the gaze back to neutral, release the arms, and we're going to just take the leg out, flex the foot back toward you, just flex it back so you can feel it working in the calf, in the tibialis on front. Continue to draw in. We'll have a tendency here to just kind of lean into that left hip, so try not to do that. Good. Just breathing. Keep the belly lifted, pelvic floor lifted, everything's engaged. Great. And then unrotate, just back into neutral for a moment, and then hips to heels for just a moment, sitting up as tall as you can. Then we're going to sweep the legs around. We're going to do one more set of twisting. We're going to do Matsyendrasana, the Lord of the Fishes twist. Okay, so sitting up nice and tall, and I'm going to give you a couple of options. Well, you can do it any way that you might like, but today we're going to think about doing it with our right leg over our leg over by our left hip, our foot over by the left hip. So you might want to put a block underneath that knee. Both sit bones are even on the floor, and you can sit right here. Okay, so sometimes we cross the leg over. If that's there for you this morning, fine, as long as your left sit bone doesn't come off the floor. So you can decide. I'm going to keep mine just upright. Good, so finding yourself nice and tall. Great. Shoulders back and down. And this is our flying buttress on the front part of our body. And then the back part of our flying buttress, we form it with our left arm. So we haven't twisted yet. The sternum is still front and center. And we have the two flying buttresses to support our spine, okay? And just holding on gently with your right hand. So we're going to use this arm to help us. We're going to open the left shoulder and out to the left, and then come back. And the fourth time we'll stay. Inhale, open, roll the shoulder open, and exhale, return. Inhale, roll it open, exhale, return, and this time staying. Rolling it open, hold onto your left leg firmly so it doesn't have a tendency to roll out. Sit up on top of your sit bones. You can take your chin out towards your left shoulder if that feels comfortable. You can also just keep it right over your sternum. Anywhere in between, breathing. Keep the breath smooth and even. Belly is engaged. There is no belly breathing here. It's all happening in the thoracic spine. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and take your chin, arch it up, and come over to your right shoulder. And then on your next exhale, release the twist. Good. And just be front and center for a moment and just see how it feels. And then picking up the right leg. Good. And then we're going to take the left leg in, and my ankle doesn't like that one. It's the only thing it has really not liked. Just take it in. I'm going to still put the block there. Just keeping myself super supported. And I've got my flying buttress now formed with my right leg. I'm up on top of the sit bones, as tall as I can get, from sit bone up through the crown of the head. Great. And then I'm going to take up my right arm and open it and put it back behind. So I've created a flying buttress there for that shoulder. And that shoulder is open and ready to open by bending the elbow. Okay. So 3 times, and the 4th time will stay. So a nice inhale, twist over to the right. Exhale, return. Keep the belly in. Chest breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And we'll stay. Inhale. Chin out over your right shoulder if you'd like. You can also just keep it right over the sternum. Breathing. Chest breath. See if you can bring a little bit of that breath into the back ribs. No belly, just back ribs. And then if you'd like, on your next inhale, arch your chin toward the ceiling and over your left shoulder. Breathing. And then on your next exhale, just release the twist. Good. Back into neutral. And then let's bring both legs up for a moment. Good. Just a little bit of a playing with boat pose, just a little bit. Okay. So to the side, perhaps just becoming parallel, but leaning back enough so that you're not slumping. Leaning back enough to get a nice strong V between your femurs, which are your thigh bones, and your spine. So nice strong V. And you're welcome to straighten the leg or not. Straighten one leg or not. Breathing. You're welcome to release the arms. You're welcome to even take the arms up overhead and really pull up toward the ceiling as if you had something to hold on to at the top. And slowly release your feet to the floor. Good. And now the soles of the feet together. Sitting in Vajrasana, soles of the feet together. And maybe a block underneath your knees. You can see what you need this morning. Maybe a block underneath your knees. Nice and tall. And then we're going to create a lock of energy, just an energetic lock. And I'll go to the side for this to happen. So I'm going to allow my toes are together, still sitting in Vajrasana. Got my legs supported. And I'm sitting up tall initially. So from here, I'm not going to twist. My twist is going to happen in my thoracic spine. I mean, I don't mean twist. I mean, forward bend is happening in my thoracic spine. So as I'm getting close, I just want an energetic circle. Shira Padasana, just head to foot pose. So just creating this circuit of energy for a moment. Pull in your belly. Mul to mul. Bottom of the feet to the crown of the head. And wherever you are is perfect. Really pull your belly in and make sure you're protecting your low back. Just keep your belly all the way in. Breath would be in the back ribs. See if you can surrender a tiny bit more. And surrender here is the key word. No forcing. You force it, you lose the intention. Tuck your chin into your chest, one last little release. And then begin to peel your chin off your chest, looking forward out to the front of the mat, and then come up slowly by using your arms and walking yourself back up nice and tall. And then bringing the soles of the feet to the floor and the knees together. Soles of the feet to the floor and knees together. Perfect. Okay. So now we're going to head down to the floor. And I'm going to let you do that, but I'm going to show you briefly, and then I'm going to just watch. I do want you to think about an inversion if you're inverting. So you're inverting as long as you are not on the first few days of your menstrual cycle, you don't have any eye pressure problems or uncontrolled blood pressure issues. Okay. So if you are inverting, I have a block. I'm going to come down and I want you to think for a moment about a supported bridge. So this supported bridge from here, so it's going to be like a more active pose today. So if you're inverting, if you're not inverting, I'd love for you to lay on the floor, take a little extra long shavasana or any other pose that appeals to you, except twisting in your low back. Don't even think about it, okay? So here I am in bridge with a block underneath me, supporting me completely. And I'm gonna draw in one leg. And then when I get the leg relaxed here at the hip socket, and I'm gonna let, so that takes a few moments for that to happen. And then I'm gonna engage the front of the leg and reach up, flex the foot toward the ceiling. So the key here is letting the leg come in, relax into neutral, and then try to extend the leg up toward the ceiling. So you'll do one leg at a time. So a more active bridge, okay? And then we'll come out, and that will be our inversion for the day. So taking your times. If you're not inverting, you can do windshield wiper, putting your feet on either side of the mat. Let the feet drop open to one, out to one side and then arching to the other. Good. Okay. So going down to your bridge, any kind of bridge. And you're welcome to take any other variation. You're welcome to take Viparit Karni Mudra. You're welcome to take any inversion. Good. Thank you for taking care of yourself. Excellent. So just playing for a few more moments with that inversion if you're there, just being in it for just a little while longer. If you have a foot and leg toward the ceiling, just notice the effort that it takes where and try to relax anything you might not need, like your jaw or your forehead. Good. Excellent. About 30 more seconds. Think about the word surrender for a moment. Just think if you can surrender to wherever you are right now. And then slowly making your way down, drawing your knees in, finding your feet on the floor, just taking your time. And once you're there, finding your Shavasana. Go ahead and really think about Shavasana for a moment. So thinking about letting everything go. If you need an extra blanket, good. letting your palms be below the heart and facing the ceiling if that's comfortable for you. Good. And then surrender again is the key word here. That's why Babaji says this pose is so dadgum hard. Letting go. Check in with your jaw, with your breath, no control. Let your hips sink into the floor and legs, feet sink into the floor. Arms and shoulders sink into the floor. Hands, the whole trunk of the body and the head sinking into the floor. And your only work here is to relax. Letting go. Slowly and gently coming back into your awareness, aware of the body on the floor, aware of the temperature in the room, any smells, any sensations in the room. Letting the breath get a little bit deeper. Notice the senses come online. Hearing and smelling, touching, seeing, tasting. And thinking about the mind for a moment, manas, the recording faculty, and buddhi, our intellect. Chit, the mind field. And ahankar, our ego, our separateness, our individuality. Just dwelling on those 4 aspects of the mind. All contained in this one body. Continue to let the breath deepen a little. And then you might consider an overhead stretch, or you might shrink in. However you want to make your way over onto one side in embryo pose. Take your time. And then in embryo pose, again, bringing the senses into your awareness, become aware of all of the senses of your space around you. And then begin to press the floor away and spiral yourself. Let the head be the last thing that comes up and plops on top of the spine. Sitting up nice and tall, letting your shoulder blades melt down the spine, melt down the back as the spine lifts up. And finding the breath, is it in your belly or your chest? Just noticing, not changing, no judging. And then let the breath soften a little, just really soft and shallow into our what we call meditative breath. No control at all. Relax the tongue in the bottom of the mouth. Let your eyes get heavy in the sockets. And just pay attention without changing that shallow, uncontrolled breath. And then we're going to let the breath grow a little. We're going to do some yum, some restraining. So on your next exhale, hold the belly to the spine. As you inhale, spread the ribs side to side, chest breath. 4 more. Exhale the breath all the way out as the lungs recoil and the breath comes back out. And then inhale. Keep the belly to the spine, inhaling into the chest. Feel the ribs spread side to side, front to back. And then exhale. 2 more. Just letting the lungs recoil on the exhale, softening everything, not controlling, except keeping the belly in. 1 more. Letting the breath go. And just fall back for a moment into that uncontrolled, meditative breath. Maybe in your belly, maybe in your chest, maybe unperceptible as to where it lays. And this next time, as you exhale, draw your belly to your spine and then release your belly and let the breath come in. Exhale, draw the belly to the spine. Don't let it climb up into the chest. Keep it in low in the belly. And release the belly, breath comes in. Kriya 5. Kriya 6, sorry. Exhale, breath comes out. Push it out. Push, push, belly to spine. Draw it in as much as you can muscularly. Release the muscles Let the breath come in. Couple more. And then after your next exhale, just letting the breath come in where it will, imperceptibly into the belly or the chest, that uncontrolled, soft, shallow, meditative breath. Without moving, without changing, see if you can just slide in to a meditative state. Aware, relaxed, uncontrolled breath. Letting your hands and arms relax. You can take a mudra or not. Your mantra can be what you use every day, or it can be a simple Om. Om on the inhale, Om on the exhale. Om, Om, Om. Uncontrolled breath. Sinking into the self. Om, Om, Om. Om, Om, Om. Om. Namo Vajraguru Baba Haridas Hum. Om Namo Vajraguru Baba Haridas Hum. Bringing your awareness back to the body, letting go of mudra, mantra, everything coming back. Again, aware of the space around you, the temperature, the smells, the touch of the floor beneath you. Just sensing, using the senses. Bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. Any merit we may have earned this morning in a practice of yoga, we lift it up to the welfare of all sentient beings. Remember your intention. Just letting your intention fill your mind, filling your mind completely. And then from your mind, letting it drop down into your heart space, and then symbolically from your heart into the palms of your hands, and then just lift it all up and let it go off into the universe. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste. Okay. So I am coming to the computer. And let's fix this so that I can see your pretty faces. Great. Hi, Ashok. Welcome. Nice to have you back. Nice to see everybody. Good morning, Cam, Jana, Cholanta. Hi, Jen. Thanks for showing up. She was ready to jump in if my ankle said no, no, no. But thank goodness it was like, okay, let's try this. Good morning, Jean and Manipa, Wendy. Nice to have you there. Hi, Sandra. Alfredo, it was great to have you just there today. Let me see. Hi, Ellie. Hi, Amber. Good morning. Patty, Amy, Sylvia, and Chandana. Nice to have you. So, any questions about the practice? So we stayed low to the floor. So this would have been a great practice for balancing vata dosha, right? For keeping it really low and centered, a low center of gravity, really working on keeping things down in that whole area. Because when we're seated, we're really stimulating Muladhara chakra. And when we're on our knees, often too, we're still down in that low part. So it's really good for helping us to balance the vatas, the vayus, the 5 vayus to stay low sometimes. The 5 vayus are the subdoshas of vata, for those of you who think about doshas, right? So we have the doshas vata, pitta, kapha, and they each have 5 subdoshas. So the subdoshas of vata dosha are the 5 pranavayus, prana, udana, samana, apana, and vyana, right? So those 5 vayus make up the subdoshas of vata. So when we're really working and keeping the body low and grounded and centered, that helps to reduce the vata in the body, which most of us need in our day and time. I mean, there's some kaphas out there that maybe need a little bit more vata, but they're probably asleep anyway. They didn't come to class. They stayed in bed. So most of us who are on the mat can usually use a little bit of vata balancing, just kind of help ourselves out a little. So any questions about anything we did today? How about Surya Churya? How does that feel in your body? The sunbird, where we were just opening and then we would arch in and try to stay on those train tracks. And that feel okay? Everybody was good with that? That's a really good strength builder. It's a really good strength builder. And you can do it initially with your foot on the floor until you really get the fact that you're only lifting your leg from the strength of the whole of the leg, including the heel, right? So the hamstring all the way through the gastrocnemius, the whole calf has to really, everything has to engage to lift the leg up. But it starts in the back, in the trapezius and all of those back muscles. So, like learning to keep the belly in, to keep the low back stabilized, lifting that leg, making sure you have no rotation. Thank you, Jen. It was really great having you. Thanks for coming. I'll see you later, I'm sure. Yeah, so really working to keep the belly stable so that the low back stays stable. But that's a great pose to help us keep the belly stable, because gravity is not helping us there. We really have to go against gravity to pull the belly in, right? And that's why it's so wonderful as a strengthener for the belly region. And then the simple stuff that we were doing at the very beginning with your triceps, could you feel your triceps really getting involved there? Like when we were just take the arms up and the thumbs deeply into that's also a really good way. And you can get a block. What's really helpful is a bag of rice. It's like a pound bag of rice, and put it in both hands and just go down and up and down. Slower, Jane, and up. Slower, Ellie. And don't let your elbows go out to the side. No, ma'am. Keep those elbows. That's it. Not quite so tight, but almost. Yeah. Feel the difference, Jean? Feel the difference when you keep your elbows in? Yeah. All of a sudden, those triceps start singing to you, right? Got it, Ellie? Yeah. Yeah. And that really helps to strengthen this whole area here. The tricep has got a lot of white, it's got a white aponeurosis, and then it's not a big, huge muscle unless you really work with it. And, and to do all of the things that we want to do, lowering to the floor or releasing to the floor, those triceps are key. That's why doing plank at the wall is really key to working with the triceps being strong. And how about twisting? So today when we finally got to the Matsyendrasan, the Lord of the Fishes, could you feel that your whole spine was between those two flying buttresses, kind of like Notre Dame? You know, like your spine is supported by the leg in front and the arm in the back, and your spine is just up and revolving. Could you sense that? Good, good. And everybody's down with why I have us inhale to twist, right? Anybody need that? Okay. It was interesting. Yes,
I
Ashok.
actually don't remember.
Okay, I'll tell you in a sec. Ashok, you want to know too?
Yeah, I want to know why.
Okay. So just like you guys, I was like, well, everybody I've ever gone to class with has told me to exhale the twist, ring it out, exhale, twist, ring it out. And so Babaji's asking me, I'm reading one of his books about an asana, and one of his writings about how to do it, and I was supposed to inhale to twist. So I thought probably it was a typo, not a typo because it was handwritten, but I thought it was like, you know, whatever. So I went and asked, and he just like, so I had to sit down, and, you know, because he doesn't talk, so, you know, he used to like point and do, right? So I sat down, and he had me do it, right? So like, and he put his hand on my head, and he motioned for me to exhale the breath out. And then as I started my inhale, then he had me twist. And I thought it was probably his hand on my head that was making me feel like I was like growing each time. And then I was getting as big as Hanuman on my way to Lanka. I was just like, just growing big, right? But it's the reason for doing it on an inhale is because you increase the pranic energy, the pran in the body, rather than like dissipating when the pran kind of goes out and rings out. You're not, you know, this way when you inhale and you twist against it. And it was interesting because one of our Canadian students in the 300 program said that now the Iyengar classes that she started going to are having folks twist on an inhale. And I've been having folks twist on an inhale for 20 years now. So it's interesting that they would pick it up, but it's also stronger for people with back injuries. I mean, it's more safe for people with back injuries. If you have a bulging disc, or if you have an issue with your spine, you know, and you inhale, the inhale is going to protect your spine and your disc as you go. If you exhale, you just ring into that tissue, right? And you just compress it. So like inhaling to twist, and then exhaling when you get there, you know, and then you can inhale, twist a little more, exhale. But, you know, Babaji was really big on inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, stay. You know, so like just staying there and letting the pran just flow through you, all the way through you. And then, you know, like I like to add the fact that the chin is not, it's an accoutrement. It's not internal to the twist, you know, like you can twist here and take your chin back, and then you're twisting in both directions and putting a lot of pressure at Vishuddha. So that's really good for Udana by you, for that upward speaking, you know, speak your mind, say your piece. Camp's having Pete's coffee this morning. His camera was on the way where the Pete's coffee bag was going. But so when you inhale to twist, it's not just, it's two things. Physiologically, it's to help protect the spine, because it's a lot safer for you not to collapse into an exhale and wring out the spine. And then psychosomatically, which is where our pranavayus really help us, it's to increase our level of pran. And you'll feel like after, sometimes when you twist, you sometimes will feel sort of a little bit depleted after it's over. Like you've exhaled and exhaled and exhaled, and then you don't really have anything left. And then when you inhale and inhale and inhale to try it, then you'll see that you have quite a bit more energy. I usually do it with the students at the 300 in person with them, right? Like I show them how Babaji did it with me, and I push my hand, and he was pushing my hand pretty hard, pushing my head pretty hard. And I had to really lift up and extend my spine up against his hand, and then inhaling and exhaling, right? So that I could really feel the pran increase the whole time I was doing it. And honest to God, I stayed awake for 24 hours. I was like, well, this is very interesting. I had so much prawn. And I couldn't decide if it was because his hand was on my head or I just had increased my pranic energy so much, if it was a little Shakti or what, who knows? But I certainly didn't go to sleep that for longer than 24 hours because I was up that whole night and the next day. So yeah, pretty interesting. Yeah. So any questions about how about the pranayama this morning? I just wanted to do simple, 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 back into the nothing breath, and then learning that the controlled breath is quite different, whether it be in your chest or in your belly. It doesn't matter. There's still a certain amount of control going on. That's the yam. That's the pranayama, the yam of pran, the restraint of it. And then when we fall into that meditative breath, it's just light and superficial and no control. And how did that feel for folks? Good, good. And then I forgot to tell you to get your props so you could slide right into meditation, but I decided I was sliding you there anyway. I didn't want to even give you a chance to get up. So hopefully that was okay, because it felt like everything kind of came down energy wise. And I just wanted you to have that opportunity to just check right into meditative state. I hope people enjoyed it. Yes, Jolanta.
I just wanted to ask if there a recording for last Thursday? I couldn't come, but I didn't see it yesterday.
There is not a full recording.
Okay.
I remembered to
No problem.
I remembered to turn it on for the meditation, but I decided it was kind of
It's
out
okay.
of context.
It's okay. I was just wondering if I couldn't find it or it's okay, no problem. Thank you.
It was just me forgetting to hit. Yeah, I was still a little bit painful last week. So and now.
By the way, I don't know how I cannot believe that you're doing so well. I mean, it's amazing.
Well, it's
so
really
glad.
all of the asana. And what I found, like I had a terrible experience of trying to get out of bed in the night to pee. And my whole leg was so stiff and tight and painful. I thought, I'm gonna die. There's no blood in my leg. There's everything's missing. My leg is not mine, And so that was to get up to pee like at 2 a.m. and I just almost went down on my knees to go to the bathroom. And then when I woke up at around 6, I thought, I'm going to do all my regular yoga ankle exercises right now. And so I spent about 10 or 15 minutes in the bed doing all of my toe things and ankle flexion and extension and circles and, and put my finger through my toes and rang around and, and I did both of them. And then I got up to go pee and it was awake and it didn't hurt. So now what I've been doing is just staying in bed for 10 or 15.
That was first night? You did first night? You did that first night?
No. This was, no, I was on crutches the first 5 days.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So that was after post crutches. But, I mean, it's a huge, it's not a tear, it's just a huge bruise to all of the ligaments, in the area. And of course, they're still very swollen, but I'm getting to see my ankle again. I saw, as of yesterday morning, I saw the bone. Yay! I have an ankle again. My friend Tanya called it a cankle because my calf just went straight down to my heel. So now I have it. It's still about twice the size of my other one, but it's looking really good. And today I could do almost everything. I mean, it's a couple of things. I felt the strain of the ankle when I sat on my heels, but other than that, it felt like, well, maybe this is kind of nourishing and what I need. So it's good to have the movement. Yeah. But the movement is really what helped me to put my foot on the floor and deal with that terrible tightness. It just went away if I just take the time to do all of the proper exercises from the bed and then put the weight on the. Yeah, so good to know. See, the goddess is teaching me things to help other people, because now I'll know what to tell them to do for that sort of tightness in a limb when they have injured it terribly. Thank you, dear. All right, everyone. It's so wonderful to see you. And some of you I'll see tomorrow for the Mahabhutas class on air. And then some of you I'll see on Thursday right back here. Okay. Great. Have a great day. Buen provecho. Enjoy your breakfast and take good care. Okay. See you soon.